that you were who you were, all those things that your mom and daddy said about you, and for the first time in your life you hear it, that is not who you really are, that is not the substratum of your life, it is not the sum total of who you are, it is not your identity. It's a lie, 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 it's a lie. You're not wicked, you're not evil, you're not a hoe, you're not a liar, you're not a thief, you're not any of those things. You are the divine image of God, fearfully and wonderfully made. You are the manifestation of God in the earth. You are the offspring of the living God. Revenue locked up inside of you. You got ideas that you haven't even tapped into yet. You got, oh God have mercy, you got ideas and concepts and innovations that are in you that you haven't even tapped into yet. You got the varying streams of revenue within you that will relieve all your frustration, all your stress, all your worry, all your doubt. You just gotta tap in to what's inside of you and begin to create and use the hands that God has given you and begin to create instead of standing like Moses and making the excuses. I should have stutter. He said, look at what I put in your hand. Use the stick that I gave you because that's but untying. And so the universe then has no choice. First attribute of the secret place. The secret place is a place of revelation. It makes you free because it awakens you and makes you consciously aware that everything that you thought was holding you is an illusion. Good evening, everybody. Good evening and welcome. Welcome to the Emerge movement, this conversation with God, conscious conversation that is going to empower you, inspire you, instruct you, and hopefully motivate you to dig further and to search out deeper and begin to explore all the infinite possibilities that are locked away inside of you so that you can procure the kind of life that you want to experience in this earth realm, that you can become the highest and best version of yourself. I'm so glad that you've chosen to join me for another empowerment session tonight. We're going to continue the conversation that we began a few days ago and then pick up where we left off on last night in unpacking some of the highlights that I gave you, just headlines that I gave you just a few days ago. From an ongoing conversation, an unfolding, ongoing, consistent conversation that I've been having with God. And I will say again here at the top, my disclaimer again, that I fully admit and am consciously aware of the fact that any conversations that I am having with God and the information that I'm sharing with you is coming through the filter of my own soul and its experience and its influences, environment, and culture. So I don't encourage you to take anything that I say as the absolute and the the definitive end of all things, the all of everything. I encourage each of you to do your own research, to have your own conversations with God as well. And if what I'm saying to you happens to resonate with you, if a truth that I release to you, a principle, a practice, a particular pattern resonates with your spirit, then you can embrace that and own it as your truth. But you are under no obligation to, nor am I arrogant enough to think that I am the only vessel or only individual through whom which the Holy Ghost or God or this eternal creator, the all of everything, the Elohim, is speaking. Okay, so I put that out there at the very top because I don't purport to be some great renowned, someone that is special, although I am special. Each of us are special, but not that I am somehow greater than others that are, or anything like that. I possess some relationship with God that is unreachable, unattainable by any other person, because that is not the case either. That I have some specific title, or because of the title that I've worn as apostle or even as a prophet or preacher or whatever, that puts me into a special category and gives me special access, because it does not. Okay? That God fully and completely lives, expresses, and experiences itself uniquely in every individual that exists in this three-dimensional plane of consciousness. That each of us are a divine, unique expression and experience for God. That we express the very essence, the being, the isness, the ethereal nature of God just by simply being. We are both being and becoming and allowing God in its infinite ability, infinite ability and reach to experience and know itself as you and I. So these conversational points and these topics are not exclusive to me. I am not a part of an exclusive club. I am a part of a community, a collective that involves every single solitary soul that has been, is, and ever will be, because even though they are all individualized, we are all individualized, or an individuation. I'm not even sure if that's really a word, but it'll be my word. Okay, we're an individuation of the divine source. We are yet one with God and one with each other. Again, I'm not sure the individuation is a word. You can look that one up, or it'll just be my word. Okay, it'll be an emerge word. We'll create an emerge dictionary. Individuation. Okay, a divine expression of the all of everything. And so I want you to listen and participate and offer your questions, and I'll answer them as fully and completely as I possibly can. Offer your commentary, your thoughts about whatever subject it is that we are covering tonight. It is welcome here. I don't want this just to be me talking to you, but us having a conversation, a dialogue, or an exchange of thoughts and ideas. So I really want to hear from you in the comments. I want you to participate as much as you desire, so that we can hear from differing points of view and differing perspectives, and your own unique experience in your relationships and conversations with God. So last night we talked about the fact that we are. I'm sorry. Before I get into that, for the those of you that are tuned in right now, watching on YouTube as well as watching on Facebook Live, whether you're watching on my personal page or you're watching on the Emerge page or AIM Ministries page, and I'm going to somehow merge all of those pages together so that it's just one page. So I'm not broadcasting across all of these three different ones. It will be at a Facebook page and a YouTube page. That's something I'm working on right now to gather everybody into one place. I'm working on that. What I was going to ask you to do is to please tag and share, because I like as many people as possible to participate in the dialogue and the conversation. And tag your religious friends, tag your preachers, your pastors, your prophets, evangelists, pastors, teachers, bishops, missionaries, and whatever their titles might be. Tag your guru, your imam, tag your friends, your associates, your brothers and sisters, your family members and others, and tag everyone that you can think of that would have an interest in spirituality, development, growth, and evolution, who have a critical thinking mind, and have them to come and be a part of this conversation that we are having tonight. Do that for me right now, if you will. I see some of you, like Sister Toya, is always tagging a number of people. If all of the people that you tagged actually tuned in, Toya, I tell you, we'd have 40 or 50 people every time we come on the air. You are my number one tagger. I really appreciate that. And there are some of you that are regular, that tune in all the time, that are always a part of the conversation. I appreciate you. Some are missing. Like, I haven't seen Bernadette Youngblood in a long time. If anybody has been in contact with her or heard from her, please reach out to her. Make sure that everything's okay with her. I miss when I don't see her involved. She's usually a very active participant. So please look out for her and Sister Gloria Porter and Helen Porter. Please reach out to them as well, so that, I tell them I miss them. I miss seeing them around. And Jamie Meredith, she's normally on here as well. Y'all reach out to them. Reach out to our regulars, all of those like that. Mike Christian as well. Or maybe they're on and they just haven't commented. I don't know you're out there. If you are, then go ahead and make a comment. Let me know that you're tuned in, so that I know that you're out there. Okay, that I know that you are out there, that you're listening. Okay, so let's pick up. Last night we were talking about the first 6 of those headlines that I gave you a few nights ago, covering a broad spectrum and a broad span of topics. But I narrowed them down. I grouped the first 6 together because they all seem to be centered around creativity. I'm going to read those 6 again, and I'm going to try not to elaborate too much on them, so that we can get to the next grouping of highlights tonight. But they were: life is an ongoing process of creation. That because we are the divine expression of God, and one of the characteristics of divinity is to be omniactive. Because God is omniactive and we're the offspring of God, then we are omniactive, and we have been given not only the capacity and ability, but the responsibility to continuously create, to finish what God started. If we use the Genesis narrative, that allegory, as a basis, then after 6 days of creating, on that 6th day, he puts itself into 3-dimensional form, and then says, now you take a dominion authority, and you replenish and subdue the earth, because my participation in creating, my end of creating, has ended. needed. And so I've given you everything you need to take now and continue to create. Not only create on the level of nature and natural things within the earth, the atmospheres, the sky, the moon, the stars, and the planetary system, but then also to create your own life. As I said before on last night, he did not initially, it did not create houses and tables and chairs, but it did put in place trees. And then after placing trees and forestry in place, he turned over the creation process to mankind, and mankind then, because it is Elohim, it is mankind is omniactive, from trees made chairs and houses and tables and all of these different applications, because by nature we are creative beings, and we are not just creative on the natural sense, that is creating those things from the raw materials that exist within the earth realm or in the space or skies or stars or seas, but that we are creating the reality in which we live. We operate and move and we function in the same creative capacity as the divine one, source, the all of everything that is God. We operate in that same ability with the same capacity and the same pattern and the same potency to create our life, and we live in the reality of our own creation. We create with our thoughts, words, and deeds. We talked about that thought, word, deed process, that our thoughts and our words and our deeds are the tools that we use in order to continue creation. So let me keep reading. I got caught up in that very first one. I'm not going to do that. Let's keep going. Life is an ongoing process of creation. The secret of masters, ascended masters, is to stop changing your mind, but to keep choosing the same thing again and again until it manifests. And once it manifests, as long as it continues to serve you, to serve your highest good, then continue to choose it. And once it ceases to, then make a different choice. Because with every choice you make, mind, word, deed, in alignment with your soul's desire, you bring about the manifestation that moves you from glory to glory, from one state of knowing and being to another state of knowing and being, moving you along the evolutionary journey of your soul. For the soul's evolutionary journey, its sole purpose, the sole purpose of the soul, the sole purpose of the soul is to rediscover its original state and to fulfill the original intent for which it was released into this world. Life is an ongoing process of creation. To create, the secret of all masters, ascended masters, as Jesus was an ascended master, Buddha was an ascended master, Krishna was an ascended master, Muhammad ascended master, and many others that you are probably not as familiar with, ascended masters, is to continue to keep choosing the same things. Quit changing your mind. Keep choosing what actually works for you. And number 3 was don't take no for an answer. In other words, you don't stop continuously putting pressure, applying pressure on the thing that you are bringing into manifestation, that you are summoning into your 3-dimensional reality until it comes. You don't take no for an answer, because the only answer is yes and amen. Contrary to popular belief, the whole old adage about God answers in 3 ways, yes, no, and maybe, That's baloney. That's malarkey. That's foolishness. That's erroneous. It is absolute nonsense. The answer of God is always yes. Our will is God's will. Ooh, I wish I could really spend some time talking about that one. Our will is God's will. And please take note of the way that I said that. And I will touch on that just a little bit because I want to make sure we understand that our will is God's will. Notice that I did not say God's will is our will. I said our will is God's will. Yeah, that's what I just said. That's what I said. That's what I said. Because what God is essentially become is the observer, as it observes us. We, all of us, the collective, continuing the work of creation. It observes itself as us, continuing what it began at the beginning, when it began the beginning. Let me say that again. It is observing itself as us, continuing what it began when it began the beginning. And so our will is God's will. That's the reason that Jesus is purported to have said that whatever you ask, God will do. Whatever you desire, God will give. Whatever. You never see any place in the recorded history of the life and times of Jesus where Jesus insinuates ever that God might do what you ask, that there are times that God will say no, or times that God will say maybe, or times that God will say wait. You never see that anywhere. Every time that Jesus is ever speaking of the eternal, ever speaking of the all of everything, ever speaking of God itself, it always says and encourages those who would follow in the footsteps of the ascended Master Jesus, that if you ask, God will do what you ask. That ask and it shall be given. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be open. It is never ask and he might not, or he may tell you to wait. Seek, or he might not, or he might tell you to wait. Knock and he might, or he might not, and he might tell you to wait. It simply says ask, seek, and knock, and it will. Are you understanding what I'm saying? The difference between believing and supplicating and wishing and hoping and knowing is demonstrated clearly in the life and times of Jesus. Whenever Jesus communicated openly with the Father, he never spoke in terms of hoping, wishing, believing, oh Lord, if you will, if it be your will. He simply says in one place, I know you hear me, you always hear me, so do exactly what I'm asking. And God does. He speaks confidently because he is not asking from the aspect of begging and hoping and wishing. He is asking from the aspect of creating. From the perspective of creating. So he says, don't you take no for an answer, for there is no no. All the promises of God are yes and amen. We call forth what we think, feel, and say. Life can be a process of creation, or it can be a process of reaction. We dealt with that last night, and I've already spent almost 25 minutes going over what we talked about last night, and I want to get to something new, something further. So I'm not going to comment any further on that. The soul creates, and the mind reacts, and then finally, that was it. That was the last one of the 6. That the soul creates while the mind reacts. And we understood the difference between creation and reaction, what a reaction is and a response. We're going to break out of the habit of reacting and responding and start to act and create. Creation is an act of our will. Okay? Not a reaction, not a response. It is an action, an act of our will. All right. So enough on that. And if you want to know more about those first 6, go back and listen to the replay. Oh, Sister Toya sent me a text today and let me know that even though I had signed off last night, I had not stopped the video from going on. So there was the video that's posted is like, I think 7 or 8 hours long. And on the YouTube channel is even longer than that because the camera was still going, even though I had left the studio and things and the broadcast was over. She had to text me this morning to tell me so that I could hurry and go and cut it off. So when you see the sign off on the replay, that's the end of it. The rest of it is just tape running in an empty room. You won't see anything because there's just a picture up there. So, but do watch the replay if you want to get the information from what we've already covered. If you want to get that information, okay? All right. So let's get into now. Here are the next, and I'm not going to. The next grouping is going to be 7 instead of 6. The next grouping is 7 that highlighted topics that I think that we can condense into one conversation. They are: the soul understands what the mind cannot conceive. The soul understands what the mind cannot conceive. Number 8, stop trying to figure out what is best for you. Stop trying to figure out what is best for you and start going with what feels like who you are. Stop trying to figure out what's best for you and start going with what feels right. Feels like who you are. Start going with what feels like who you are. Ooh, we're going to get into it. I know, because that's challenging right there. Number 9, your feelings are your truth. What is best for you is what is true for you, and your feelings are your truth. I know this is really difficult and challenging to wrap your mind around, especially if you grew up in the Christian ideology or religious faith, as I did, because we were told all our entire life to discount our feelings, that our feelings shift and change. Our feelings are like a vapor, that they have no importance, no significance, can't be trusted. But that's not the case. Our feelings are the emanating or the ruminating of our spirit. They are the language of the soul. Our feelings give us the intuitive knowing, the instinct of what we innately know being enacted and giving rise within our being. Many times those feelings are beyond word, beyond explanation, beyond articulation. Many of you know what I'm talking about. You had a sense or a feeling about something, and what we say is, I can't put my finger on it. I can't explain it. I can't find the right words to articulate it, but I got this feeling. This sensation, this sense, this sensuality. I have this sense about something. Your truth is your feelings. Your feelings are your truth. What is best for you is always what is true for you. Let me read the rest. I'm going to come back because that's powerful. Thoughts, this is tied in. Thoughts are not feelings. Let me say that again. Thoughts are not feelings. Rather, thoughts are the ideas of how you should feel. When your thoughts and feelings get confused, truth becomes clouded or it's lost. Thoughts are not feelings. Thoughts are an idea or a concept or a belief about how you should feel. And they are accompanied in most cases by emotions. And emotions and feelings are not the same thing. Okay? I'm going to stop right there because I want to get the rest of them in. I said there were 7. I wanted to group together. Here we go. Okay? Number 11, to get back to your authentic feelings, your intuitive knowing, your inner sense, your sixth sense, if you will, your third eye, your psychic knowledge, your intuitive knowing. And again, all of my Christian folk, please don't let semantics get you hung up and cause you to stumble. Oh, I don't know. Did he say psychic? Yes, I said psychic. Okay, it's a semantical term. Okay, it's a semantical term. Please don't get hooked on that, Lord and mercy. Okay, it's your prophetic knowing. Same thing, same word. I mean, same meaning, just different word. Okay, it's your prophetic knowing. It's your intuitive knowing. It's your instinctive knowing. It's your psychic knowing. It's your prophetic intuition. Okay. So to get back to your authentic feelings, you have to get out of your mind and get into your senses. Let me say that again. To get back to your authentic feelings, your authentic intuitions, your psychic knowing, you have to be out of your mind and get into your senses. Because thoughts and feelings often come into conflict. What you believe and what you sense often come into conflict. And because we put such a priority on words, woo, Lord have mercy. And I've said this before, words are the lowest form of communication. Most highly evolved societies or highly evolved life forms don't use words. Ooh, I know that's a whole nother conversation because words are designed to try and articulate what you are thinking, and your thoughts are birthed from what you are feeling or sensing. But if your thoughts have been polluted, they are not your own, but have been influenced by outside circumstances, forces, environments, culture, religion, then your thoughts will pollute what you have sensed and felt and create an idea or a concept that warps, twists, or that is contrary to the authentic sensation that emanated from your spirit, your soul. And so by the time it reaches your mind and begins to make its way to your mouth, it doesn't look anything like where it initiated from when it emanated from your innermost being. Whew, I gotta finish. Let me just finish reading through. I keep saying that and I keep stopping. Okay. So thoughts are not feelings, rather they are ideas of how you should feel. When thoughts and feelings get confused with truth, they become the truth becomes clouded or it gets lost. So to get back to your authentic feelings, you have to be out of your mind and get back to your senses. Number 12. Once you know your truth, live in your truth. Once you become consciously aware of your truth, don't allow what anybody says. Not a preacher, not a pastor, not a prophet, not a guru, not an imam, not a life coach, not a anybody, not a mama, daddy, sister, cousin, brother, or anybody else move you out of what is your truth. Live in your authentic truth, even when it seems to be contrary to what society has labeled as normal and acceptable. We learned on last night that the goal is not to do what is normal, but to do what is natural. Yay! To embrace what comes naturally, instinctively, intuitively to us. Finally, number 13, negative feelings are not true feelings at all. Rather, they are thoughts about something based upon a previous experience of yourself and others or others. Negative thoughts are not true feelings at all. They are thoughts masquerading as feelings, producing an emotion, but they are not true feelings. They are your thoughts about something that are based upon a previous experience of yourself and or others. Okay. Let's go through and let's start to unpack. Let's start to unpack a little bit further, a little bit deeper. I'm going to read them through again without commentary and get into the commentary, the conversation. The soul understands what the mind cannot conceive. Stop trying to figure out what is best for you and start going for what feels like who you are. Your feelings are your truth. What is best for you is what is true for you. I said I'm not going to comment. Let me just keep going. Okay? To get back to your authentic feelings, you have to be out of your mind and get into your senses. Your thoughts are not feelings. Rather, they are ideas of how you should feel. When thoughts and feelings get confused, truth becomes clouded or lost. Once you know your truth, live in it. And finally, negative feelings are not true feelings at all. They are thoughts about something based always upon a previous experience of yourself and or others. Let me tie one more in, and that's the next one that I have written is previous experiences are no indicators of truth. Pure truth is created in the here and now. It is created in the eternal moment of now. It is not a reaction, reenactment, response. It is a pure choice based upon the eternal moment of now. And I'm going to come, that's where we're going to close tonight. So I won't elaborate on that too much. Let's go back and let's begin with the beginning of the highlights that I've read off to you. And the first being that the soul understands what the mind cannot conceive. Let's understand and differentiate between the suke, the consciousness, the mind, the ego, the id, the mind, and the soul of man, that is the spirit of man, the candle of man, the light of man. Let's differentiate between them. The soul is the conduit through which the spirit enters into the conscious awareness of mankind. The soul is the conduit. It is the middleman. It is the mechanism through which the spirit operates in this three-dimensional world. That we are spirits, divine spirits, eternal spirits that have a soul that live in a body. Within the corridors of the soul is the mind. And the mind is our conscious awareness. It is what we are consciously aware of and where we rather manufacture what we call beliefs. The mind is where thought takes place. It is where we conjure and create what we call beliefs, ideas, concepts, values are within the mind. Now, the genesis, starting place for those beliefs, ideas, thoughts, concepts, values should be the spirit. The spirit speaks expressly into the soul, entering into the soul so that it can pierce into the conscious awareness of mankind or of the individual, of us as the individual. That's the way we were designed to function and operate. However, the soul is like a giant computer, okay? Filtering in information. It is not just releasing information, allowing it to emerge from within, but it is taking in information as well. The mind is constantly processing the information as it comes. And from the processing of the information, it formulates beliefs, values, ideas, and concepts that we hold to. And so, because our mind is consistently from conception in utero to the time of our birth, all the way throughout our three-dimensional existence in this iteration of life, is bombarded with a multiplicity of information, a download, terabytes upon terabytes of information being thrown at it every single second of every single moment of every single day of every single month of every single year of every single millennia. Then it is constantly processing, and it is possible for it to be influenced as it begins to calculate and formulate beliefs. Are you understanding what I'm saying to you tonight? The question is not what you believe. The real question that you have to ask yourself, those of you who are on this spiritual evolutionary journey of discovery, the question is not what you believe, but why do you believe what you believe? Why do you believe what you believe? Why do you value what you value? Why is this the concept or the hill that you have chosen to die on? Why is this the thing that you cling to? Your ideology. Where did it come from? Did it come from you? I venture to say that for most of you watching me, 99.99% of you, most of your ideas about life, about yourself, about humanity, about the world, and about God didn't come from you. They came from your culture, your environment. They came from your religion, your family. They came from your experiences, and your interpretation of those experiences were filtered through the belief systems that had already been given to you. You didn't approach them purely, you didn't approach them objectively, but you approached them subjectively based on what Grandmama and Aunt Tippy and Uncle Junior had already instilled in you, based on what Reverend Cutthroat and Prophet Hoodoo and Guru Uluba and all the others have said. I'm coming up with some crazy names. Have said to you, and that you have heard, and what, because faith, that is what we believe, what we accept as our truth, comes by echion, hearing, that is echoed. Echion, the word from which we get the word echo, repetitious hearing. Faith, what we believe, comes by what we repetitiously hear. You believe what you believe because it's what you have been told again and again and again and again from multiple sources, and many of them being people that you look up to, respect, honor them as a voice of authority in your life. Are you understanding what I'm saying? You don't really remember. You have not reconstructed and recalled or remembered your birth into this three-dimensional form. But you were told that you were born on a particular day at a particular time, and you were told that by your mama, your daddy, your sister, your cousin, your brothers, and others who say they were witnesses of your birth. They issued you a birth certificate with a date on it, and so because of the preponderance of evidence and the repetitiveness of the information, you accept it as true, never questioning it until you do. Until you do. Until you encounter or have a particular experience that offers you contrary data that says, no, you were not born on this date. You were born on this day. No, you were not born on this in this year. You were born in this year. Or, no, this is not your mother. This is your mother. Come on, y'all have heard these stories. Some of you may have experienced it, where you grew up your entire life. Everything and everyone around you told you, this is your mother, this is your dad, or this is your cousin, this is your brother. And you come to a place in life and discover that what you had been told was not the truth, but it was your truth. So much so, I'm going to show you how ingrained it is, so that even when you are presented with incontrovertible facts, you will still cling to what has been your truth for so many years, even in the face of incontrovertible facts. You are given facts that says you were not born on this date, you were born on this date. Well, I'm going to still celebrate this day because this is the day that I've been celebrating all of my life, and I don't do this. That's my birthday. That's just what do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes, Bree, yes. What if you're wrong? That's a really good question. What if you're wrong? She said, that's why I always ask people, what if you are wrong? The greatest thing that you can ever do in your evolutionary journey as you are taking this path to spiritual growth, enlightenment, and evolution is to give yourself the right to be wrong. Give yourself the right to be wrong. Don't become so entrenched and so engulfed and so married to a particular ideology, legalism, dogma, belief, or doctrine that you are unwilling to even entertain the possibility that what you have held as your truth may not be. And that does not make it good or bad. There's not a value judgment in that. Because that truth, whatever it may have been erroneous, may have been based upon a lie, but it was your truth and it served you. But until it didn't. It served you until it no longer served you. And the only reason for you to encounter something different is because the time of that is no longer necessary. You have grown and evolved to the place where now you are able to embrace a greater truth. It serves you until it didn't. It served you until it no longer does. Are you understanding what I'm saying to you? Huh? So the soul knows what the mind cannot conceive, because the mind is so bombarded with all of this conflicting information that you are constantly deciphering and going through, trying to discern what it is that I will use to shape my belief and whether it aligns with my knowing. That's the work of the mind. That's exactly what it's designed to do. To process and interpret information. To gather it all together so that you can make a conscious choice. Oh, that's good right there. She says, I always think of the soul as being like an immune system, as a filter. And it is, but it does not filter the mind. We have to filter the mind through meditation, affirmative prayer, fasting, all the spiritual practices, keys to the universe that I've talked to you about before. The soul definitely is. It filters the information, is the conduit through which the information from our innermost being, the spirit, from which our divinity is speaking, to allow it free passage into our conscious awareness. But the moment that it reaches the threshold of the mind, it reaches a chamber that is filled with contrary, chaotic information, all being processed, shifted, and moved around, trying to find some semblance of balance and structure. Why do you think that one of the practices in meditation, or the main practice of meditation and focus of meditation, is to quiet your mind? Slow it down, shut it down, quiet it down. Because if I can get my mind to be quiet, I can hear clearly what my soul is saying. Woo! Boy, did you hear that? That if you can get your mind to be quiet, then you can start to hear clearly what the soul is saying, what your own divine nature is speaking through the portal of your soul, what God is saying in you, through you, as you, to you, but has been interrupted by all of the noise. All of the noise, the sounding brass and the tinkling cymbals, all of the noise of your past and culture and religion and mama and granddaddy and cousins and traumas and experiences, all of the noise that's on repeat and replay in your head. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? I have wrestled and struggled with weight loss for a long period in my life, and one of the things that I discovered about me with my weight loss journey and getting my health together is that my mindset about food. Well, first of all, I use food as a drug. I use food as a comfort. I use food. I want to eat when I feel bad. I want to eat when I'm depressed or when I'm upset. I eat when I get happy. I use food to celebrate. Y'all, food was just the go-to for everything. But the other thing that I noticed is that I could never. It was psychological. I cannot leave food on my plate. That there are a lot of you in here that can relate to this piece that I'm about to say. I could not leave food on my plate. Why? Because what's on replay in my head is my mother saying over and over again, there are starving children in Africa who would love to have that food that you want to throw away. Oh, you gonna eat this food? There's starving children in. Come on. It's on repeat in my head. I have to consciously, intentionally, deliberately say to myself, you are full. And this little bit of food that you're going to leave is not going to solve the starving children in Africa's problem. And all the children in Africa are not starving. Africa's a rich country. You know better. It's a rich continent, rather. I have to tell myself, come on, that's nonsense. You got to cut that recording off. What thoughts do you have on repeat in your mind that's keeping you from reaching and attaining many of your goals? Because the soul knows what your mind cannot conceive. And so you have to shut down your mind. Quiet the voices in your head. I said it, quiet the voices in your head. That doesn't mean that you're crazy. It doesn't mean that you're insane. You're not psychotic, but you are bombarded with thousands of voices in your head that you need to quiet so you can hear your authentic voice, the voice of your divinity, the voice of your spirit, your true self speaking. And that voice speaks intuitively through your feelings. Feelings are not emotions. Feelings are the result of your interior senses or sensory mechanisms that's built into your soul. Emotions are expressions masquerading as feelings. An emotion, the word emotion comes from the root word to emote. That is to express, to be demonstrative. So it is a demonstration. It is not a true feeling. It's a demonstration. It's a show. Lord have mercy. It's an act or reenactment or reaction or response. It's not a real, authentic feeling. And emotions, that is my interpretation, my interpretive, demonstrative, or demonstrative reaction to a thing, that emotion can be engendered by my thoughts. It's like I used this example the other day when I was just reading through them. It's like when a little baby is learning to walk, and part of the walking process is falling. And the baby's learning to walk and they fall. And as long as the parent doesn't respond, the baby just understands that a natural part of learning to walk is falling, and they'll just keep right on going. But when the parent begins to panic and respond with fear and trepidation and, oh my God, oh my baby, oh Lord, oh, are you all right? Oh baby, you just, it sends the message to them, this is supposed to hurt. This is unnatural. This is abnormal. Something's wrong with this, so I need to respond. And they begin to react and demonstratively demonstrate a response, not to what they're feeling, but to what the environment is telling them. Whoa, are you hearing what I'm saying? I'm gonna put my glasses on because I see some comments coming up and I didn't see it. Yes, definitely continuing to quiet those thoughts of illusions, never giving up on the process. It is a must. Absolutely. Absolutely. But are you understanding what I'm saying? Those thoughts can create emotions that are just seriously, they are thoughts masquerading as feelings. Any negative, quote unquote, feelings that you experience are not feelings at all. Whoa, let me say that again. I said any negative feelings, air quotes, that you have are not feelings at all. They are thoughts masquerading as feelings based upon your experiences from the past, a previous experience of yourself and or of others. Yes. You've been taught that you're supposed to react or respond or to quote unquote feel a certain way when this happens. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? Even when it's not what you're really feeling. I wonder if I could get some people on here who are watching with me tonight to be honest and say there have been times that you reacted with anger and like you were mad when in fact you really weren't mad, but you felt like you were supposed to be mad and you had a right to be mad because of what happened or what someone did. And so you just responded that way because, yeah, I'm supposed to be mad about this, but you really wasn't. Come on, tell the truth. Tell the truth. We act and we respond and we react and we build a whole ideologies and religions. And I'm not even talking about the whole Christian and Muslim. I'm talking about personal, individualized religion. You make a religion out of how you're supposed to respond or react to certain external stimuli, not based upon what you are truly feeling, not based upon what your soul is emanating into your conscious awareness, but purely because society had said this is the normal response. This is what you're supposed to feel. This is how you're supposed to think. This is how you're supposed to react to this or to that. Yes, the emotion comes up, not the feeling. Before you even realize it, you have an emotional response. And never give time for your authentic feeling. What are your feelings? That is your interior senses, your discerning. Hey, oh, get the book, Inner Sense. Your interior senses. I talk about it in the book. Those are your interior senses that are your true feelings, your authentic feelings, intuitive knowing. Your intuition is an inner sense. It's a part of your interior senses that allows you to know to understand, to see, to comprehend, to be consciously aware, to be enlightened, and not to just have an emotional response. Yes. Yes, he said. I got one honest person. She said yes, and don't even know why I'm actually mad. Looking at what in the world, looking like what in the world, exactly. Okay, exactly. Don't even know why you really mad. Just know that, well, that's what I've been trained like like a trained seal to respond this way, because society and my environment and my culture and my religion says that I'm supposed to respond this way. I should feel like this, when it's not a feeling at all. It's an emotional response. But your feelings are your part of your intuition, your interior senses. It is the language of your soul. Your soul does not receive information in words. Words are the lowest forms of communication. Words are just merely interpretations of what is. Trying to interpret, trying to articulate what is. But your feelings are the core, the substratum, the foundation. They are the essence of your being. And it is how the spirit then now begins to commune and communicate through the conduit of the soul, allowing it to enter into your conscious awareness. But if your mind is filled with all kinds of gunk and chaos and confusion, then by the time the message, the intuitive knowing, reaches the portal of your mind, it enters a chamber of chaos and becomes polluted. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Okay? So I said that in order for you to get back to your authentic feelings, to get back to your intuitive knowing, your instincts, you have to get out of your mind. You got to be out of your mind. Not crazy. Out of your mind. Step out of the mind, shut it down, quiet it down, so that you can clearly hear what the Spirit is saying. He that hath an ear to hear, let them hear what the Spirit is saying. He that hath, it uses the word he, pronoun he, but it speaks of all of humanity. So this is not about male or female or gender. Those who have an ear, not ears. Not, so we're not talking about these two things. It does not say ears. Has an ear, and then it says has an ear to hear. That is an ear that is attuned to the sound of the voice of the Spirit as it speaks through the intuitive knowing of the soul. Let him hear what the Spirit is intuitively saying. And can I tell you this, that your spirit is always communing with your soul. There is a constant conversation, a dialogue, a release, an upload, an emergence of information flowing from the chasms of your spirit into your soul. You just have to still yourself. Quiet your mind so you can hear what the Spirit is saying. The Comforter, as it is recorded in St. John, the Paraclete, the Holy Ghost, the Holy Spirit will lead and guide you. Its objective, its job, its responsibility, lead and guide you into all truth, to bring you to truth that liberates you, that frees you, to bring you to truth. And it says it will show you things that are to come. That is, that you are able to see it before it forms. You're able to see it before it manifests. You're able to sense it and know it before it materializes. If you will quiet your mind, get out of your mind and get into your senses. Are y'all understanding what I'm saying? Man, if you don't have this book already, you should get this one. I'm not just saying that to try and sell books, but you really should get this. You should get this book. It talks about those interior senses, our intuition, our will, our imagination. It really, our perception, it goes through them, reasoning. You should really get this book. You should really order it. Okay? He that hath an ear attuned to the sound, the vibration, the frequency of the Spirit, let him hear what the Spirit is saying consistently, perpetually, all the time, leading and guiding you into what is true, liberating, freeing truth, and will show you those things which are to come, though you are able to sense and know them before they form, before they materialize, before they take place. You go in and out with an instinctive, intuitive knowing. So you're not caught off guard. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Okay? Negative feelings, as I said before, are not feelings at all. Rather, they are thoughts about something based upon previous experiences. They are responses, their reactions, their emotional responses. You were taught from your experience growing up by all of the influences of your environment, culture, family, whatever, that at this time you're supposed to cry. You're supposed to be upset. You're supposed to be sad. You're supposed to get mad. You're supposed to be angry. These are fighting words right here. You're supposed to fight. And so you immediately respond and react to that exterior stimuli, not because it's how you feel. Nothing that's emanating from within you. It's not your will. It's not your reasoning. It's not your perception. It's not what you sense or feel. It's what you've been taught to believe. That's why it seems so foreign when Jesus, who is purported to have said, if they smite you on one cheek, turn to them the other. That if they have harmed you in some way, turn yourself and make yourself vulnerable so that if they wanted to, they could smack you again. That's not natural. That's not normal, rather. It is natural, but it's not normal. That's not normal. That goes against everything we've been taught. That's why after he finished doing this whole elaborate teaching that's covered in Matthews 5, 6, and 7, they were ready to kill this man. Like, are you nuts? Are you crazy? Have you lost your mind? Others in other places, when he talked like this, they were like, oh, what he's saying is too hard. And they would just walk away. We don't want nothing to do with this guy. You mad? Can't nobody do that. And you can't do it in your mind. But if you get out of your mind and get into your senses and start to live in your authentic truth, and you will not arrive at your authentic truth until you can start to sense or hear your authentic voice, your intuitive knowing, your real, true feelings. In that place, the curtain is pulled back The veil is lifted, and you are able to now begin to choose to act, to choose to be in alignment with who you really are, with what best serves you, rather than to emotionally respond in a manner in which you've been trained and taught. Come on, we're all guilty. We're all guilty. We're all 100%, 1,000,000% guilty of emotional responses, of responding to the training that we've received all our entire life, the indoctrination that has taken place from our culture. You know, black people don't act like this, don't think like this, don't move like this, don't do like this, don't talk like this, don't dress like this, don't do. And so you find yourself trying to be in step with the culture that doesn't represent who you really are. Well, you know, saved folk don't act like this, don't talk like this, don't think like this, don't move like this, don't believe like this, don't dress like that. And so you find yourself trying to align yourself to a culture that does not express who you really are. Because religion is designed to suppress who you are. It is designed to force you into conformity, whether it is Christianity or Islam or Hinduism or Krishna or Taoism, whatever religion it is designed for conformity. Think like everyone else. Group think, group behavior. Think like, walk like, talk like, be like everybody else. Cookie cutter. And if you don't fit in, then you're not saved, or you're not born again, or you're not enlightened, or you're not a true this, or a true that, or a true this, that, or the other. Because they have designed parameters to define who is a part of us and who is not. But real relationship has no such barrier. Relationship with your own divinity, with God within you, through you, and as you, liberates you to live in your authentic self, to express and experience your truest feelings, your intuitive knowing, your will. Not the will of a religion, not the will of a culture, not the will of a family, not the will of an environment, not the will of a society, but yours. Are you understanding what I'm saying? There you go. Kiwi says, I don't want to be like everybody. Yes. Don't need permission to access me, to live in my authentic self. And religion, but not just religion, culture and society and environment and families will create a constricting construction to confine you to a certain realm or a certain mode of thinking, behaving, and being. Because you know the Miles family, the Williams family, the Robinson family, the James family, the Joneses family, we like them. You ain't acting like one of us. Come on. And so you find yourself being the black sheep because you don't conform. Yeah. Come on. Come on. Be not conformed to this world system. That is this world's culture, this world's ideology, this world's religion, this world's whatever environment or society, but be transformed by the anakinosis, the renewing of your mind. To shift your mind to the place where it is open to receive and not filled with busyness. Are you hearing me? That last principle that I mentioned earlier, and I know I've been way over an hour. I'm like 20 minutes over, but I need to drive this point home. That last principle or highlight that I read to you was that previous experience is no indicator of truth. Previous experience is no indicator of truth, since pure truth is created here and now, in the eternal moment of now. I just need to unpack that for just 1 second. Previous experience is not an indicator of truth, because what may have been your truth yesterday may not be your truth today. I know it's just like I just threw a monkey wrench into everything, but I really didn't. I'm trying to get you to understand that you are a free, liberated, evolving being. You are being and becoming at the same time. You are being and becoming at the same time. You are being and becoming. You are evolving. So with every day there is growth and development and evolution. And so what may have been true today for you may not be your truth tomorrow. And that's perfectly okay. And the error that we have been taught to hold on to and apply to our life is to try to carry one truth or one experience rather into our present and make it true from then through forever. That's when you start making definitive statements that are ignorant, like I'll never let, I'll never do, I'll never be, I'll never. Are you hearing me? And guess what? You won't ever. But you are living in a reality that is based upon a lie. You are living on a reality that is based upon a previous experience that may have been absolutely appropriate for you to say no to at that moment, to separate yourself from, to remove yourself out of, but that is not meant to be a blueprint for the rest of your life. We create our life in every eternal moment of now, being fully present in that moment. And I know what I'm saying is difficult and challenging because the mind is like a computer that carries around all of these memories and residue from all of these different experiences, and it's constantly bombarding you, and it keeps remembering itself, reconstructing, reminding you. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And telling you, remember when this, and remember when that, and remember when, and remember, and remember, and remember, and remember. That keeps you from being fully present in the moment that's in front of you because you are locked away in what took place then. And so you can't hear the voice of your authentic self because you keep hearing the echo of your remembering, reminding voice of your past. To be truly present means that you understand that I have to create my truth in authentic truth in every eternal moment of now. I used an analogy last night when I kind of just, 2 nights ago, when I kind of glanced over this about myself, a very simplistic anecdotal analogy of when I was a lot younger as a teen and younger, even adolescence, teen. I think I probably stopped somewhere around about 19 or 20, 21. But when I was before then, when I was much younger, I loved pizza. Man, I would eat pizza all the time. I love pizza. I could eat a whole pizza by myself, sometimes a whole 2 pizzas. I was just gorging them down. I loved the pizza. And then at some point, somewhere around in my early 20s, I stopped eating pizza. Didn't like pizza anymore. It didn't appeal to me anymore. I did not like pizza. And that became my truth. I don't like pizza. And I so convinced myself that I don't like pizza that I refuse to even try pizza. And yet, watch this. Here's the crazy thing. Watch this. Every now and then over the years, inexplicably, I would get this craving for pizza. Strange. I mean, it would be like, after 5, 6, 7 years, I ain't talking about weeks or months, years. All of a sudden, I get this strange craving, overwhelming craving for pizza. And I would deny that craving because it's like, oh, absolutely not. I don't even like pizza. I ain't eat no pizza. I don't want no pizza. Are you understanding what I'm saying? And then here recently, month or so, 2 months, maybe 3, I'm not sure. A few months ago, at my job, they like to feed us at the job, which is an issue for me when I'm on this weight, trying to get this weight together. But that's a whole nother conversation. And this particular time, they decided to order pizza from this little mom and pop shop here that is exclusive to this particular area. And I was like, well, I don't eat pizza, so y'all enjoy yourself. I'm good. It's like, oh, Mr. Isaac, if you will try this pizza, I promise you, it's unlike anything you've ever had before. You got to try this. And it's like, you got to try this one right here. It's called barbecue chicken pizza. I had never heard of that before in my life. I don't know if you've heard of it or not. Barbecue chicken pizza. And this little mom and pop place specializes in doing stuff like that, barbecue chicken pizza. And I think they got like a chicken parmesan, shrimp parmesan pizza, and a whole bunch of things. Okay. And I, in my mind, I'm saying, no, man, I don't like pizza. I don't like it. But I let them convince me to try this pizza. And so I took a slice of this barbecue chicken pizza and bit into it, and it was like magic in my mouth. Woo, when I tell you that was like a sensation, that was, oh my, I felt like I was having an orgasm. That thing, it was good. All you sanctified folk don't get all bent out of shape. You like you ain't never heard the word orgasm before. Probably need to have one. Never mind. Anyway, I was just floored with how great it was. And it was in this conversation of saying to me that your truth, listen now, y'all stop laughing at me. Previous experiences are not an indicator of truth. That experience occurred to me. It occurred to me that I made a decision about pizza based upon a choice or a decision that I made years ago. It wasn't my present truth. It wasn't based upon the eternal moment of now. I made a choice that I carried with me for years and just decided that this is something that I choose not to enjoy. And the moment that I decided to make another choice, I had a different experience. Did y'all? I'm trying not to get up and run. Did you hear what I said? I said the moment that I decided to make a different choice, I had a different experience. Because the experience is different in every eternal moment of now. Truth is never found based upon previous experiences. Your truth is found in the moment, emanating from within your innermost being, from your spirit into your soul, making its way to your conscious awareness in the moment. To be fully present in the moment allows you to access that truth. What is true for you in this moment? Because you may be inadvertently, unconsciously shutting yourself off from an experience that your soul longs and yearns to have because you've made a mental decision based upon a past experience or based upon information that's been placed in your head and you've accepted as your truth. Not something that emanates from your spirit, not an eternal truth. It's not a truth that is expressive of your now experience. It's not in the moment. It's based upon the then, the there, what they said, I heard, I feel, I believe, I think. Hello? Yes, it did. Yvette said it made you rethink your life choices after that slice. But you know what? In reality, it did. And that's the whole point. Boy, I'm glad you said that. It's for all of us to rethink our life choices. What choices about your life have you made that truly were based on what your spirit allowed to emerge into your conscious mind? And how many of your life choices are based upon circumstance, situation, environment, culture, family, religion, experience, past experiences? Are you hearing what I'm saying? Diana says, and that's what happened to me because they made us all the same. One mind, one mentality to keep us under their thumb. It's what religion does. Are you understanding what I'm saying to you? Are you comprehending? Is it sinking in? I want you to, all of us, to rethink your life choices. Are you living in the truth of your being, or are you living in a truth that has been manufactured by your mind? Whoa! Good gracious. Have mercy. Let me repeat that again. Are you living authentically in your truth? Or are you living in a truth manufactured by your mind? Are you living in your mama's truth, your daddy's truth, your culture's truth, your cousin's truth, your environment's truth, your religion's truth? Or are you living in your authentic, intuitive knowing, your authentic truth? What would you do if there were no rules? because there aren't. What would you be if you could be anything you wanted to be? Because you can. Find that place. Get in that place. And I understand it's a challenge. And believe me, I'm not saying this as someone who has arrived at that place myself. I'm not. I am evolving and unfolding and becoming and being and becoming just as you are. I'm not. So please don't get that, take away that from this conversation. I'm not standing on some mountain preaching down at you. Man, I'm having a dialogue with you about us. This is us. We're in this thing together. This conversation began with me just desperately wanting answers to some questions, and has blossomed into this ongoing dialogue that more than answered those questions that I thought I had, but began to answer other questions that I hadn't even mentally thought to ask. And it's held up a mirror to me and said, now what? Now what are you going to do about this? And so it said, he said, she said, it said, once you find your truth, live in it. Fully embrace it, regardless of how abnormal it might seem to the rest of society and environment and culture around you. Do what comes natural, not what is normal. Do what comes natural. Serve and embrace the truth that is authentic to you, because that is the truth that will best serve you in being the highest and best version of yourself. You're not living this life for anyone else. I don't care if they are your husband or your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your children, your grandchildren. You are not living your life, this life, for anyone other than you. Period. Point blank. Full stop. The end. It is for you. It's all about you and your experience. You only live your life for others if you choose to do so. But that is not your assignment. That is not your reason for being. But if it is your choice, God will allow it. God won't protest it. God won't force you to do otherwise. Because God simply observes you choosing to do what you choose to do, so it may have the experience. So if you choose a life that is built around trying to please and take care of others, rather than living in your own authenticity, creating your own happiness, you can. But that's not what your life is really about. It's about you living in your truest, authentic self. Toya says, truth manufactures by the mind. Now we have the chance to live in our truth. Liberation is the path I'm on. Living and learning to truly love myself without rules. What a liberating word. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for participating and sharing. Thank you for always being. Toya is one of the most encouraging people in the world. I'm telling you, it never fails. Just at the moment I need it the most, my phone will ding with a text from her, and she'll have some of the most encouraging words. Man, they always show up right at the right moment. I really appreciate that. that about her. I really do. All right, I've been on here for an hour and 39 minutes. Good gracious, I didn't intend to be on this long. But if you're interested and you will meet me, I'll come back tomorrow and we'll move on to the next set of highlights because there's still a lot of ground to cover. I'll come back tomorrow night, 7:30, and we'll pick it up from there. We'll pick it up from there on tomorrow night. Thank you so very much for joining me and being a part of the conversation tonight. Please remember to support and give and sow if you choose to. You don't have to. It's not a requirement. I'm not going to stop coming on and teaching because you don't give. Nothing bad is going to happen if you don't give and all the other kind of foolishness and nonsense. But giving is an opportunity for you to express your appreciation and love for the work and your support for the work that we're doing here. And I appreciate every single one of you that have willingly and willfully and consistently been supportive of what we are doing with the Emerge movement, trying to bring enlightenment to the masses. I really, really want you to know that I appreciate every single one of your seeds sown, your gifts and tokens of love. Thank you so much. As always, you may use PayPal, Zelle, or our Cashapp. Any means is sufficient and any amount is grateful. We'll greatly appreciate it, and grateful for it. So whether you decide to give $10,000 or to give 10 cents, I appreciate your gift. I appreciate your intentional act of appreciation. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you all back here tomorrow night. Now, y'all know me. If I get on and there's only 2 or 3 people, then I'll just go right on back off. I'll assume that you're too busy or something else has come up. But if you meet me back here and you bring some friends with you, let's see if we can get above 30 tomorrow. Let's see. We got up to about 15 tonight. Let's see if we can get above 30. Double our numbers tomorrow night. Now, I'm going to need your help to do that. So help me to get some other people to join us for the conversation. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow night in this same place. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. And remember that I absolutely love you. Nothing you can do about it.
Thank you for tuning in. And be sure to catch us every Sunday at 7 p.m. for empowerment.
That we are a unique expression.
Every Thursday at 7 p.m. for momentum.
The creation of God and the God who created him.
Once again, be sure to follow us on all social media platforms. And we'll see you next time.